Live from Philadelphia, here on the Morning Jolt is Jim Monaghan, Chris Swendeman, and you might know him as Provolone Joe. We welcome him from Philadelphia here to the Morning Jolt. Joe, first of all, how's your liver doing?
It's hanging in there right now. I think it's. I'm pretty much ready for a long week ahead.
The Phillies going to the World Series, obviously, and we have an undefeated Eagles team. Joe, what I wanted to ask you about is what's the perspective from the city of brotherly love on the Giants, who have been very surprising at 6-1 so far?
You know, the Giants are an interesting team because they're kind of out of nowhere. Nobody expected this. Sort of like nobody expected Philadelphia to be 6-0. And the only difference is everybody thought Jalen Hurts could get better and maybe take us, somewhere good. Daniel Jones, this is kind of an anomaly because he had several bad years where we looked at him like, yeah, he's kind of on the verge of being a bust. But here he is. He has them, 6-1, and they're a real threat to the Eagles. And let's face it, we always thought of Dallas as the threat, but the Giants are right there. How do we look at them? I think we look at them like we can't wait to get on the field with them. But we hold our breath a little bit until the first score of the game. That's for sure.
And Swendeman, I'm looking at the Eagles' schedule. They've got the Steelers, the Texans, Washington, the Colts, Green Bay. They don't really face a good team until December 4th in Tennessee, and even that's arguable as how good Tennessee is.
Well, I know it's not murderer's row, but you can only play who's on your schedule. And when you're 6-0, it's hard to question. You beat everybody. So, until we lose, you play with house money and you say, hey, put someone in front of us. And that's kind of the attitude they're taking week to week. Really is.
What I find funny about it, Joe, is everybody's talking about Jalen Hurts, and rightfully so. I mean, he's doing great, the acquisition of A.J. Brown. But what about the Eagles' D? The defense is crushing it this year. I mean, and they just made another big acquisition, Robert Quinn. And they're loaded for bear on defense. And everybody seems to, and right, like I said, Jalen Hurts is the focal point and the talking point, but the D is quietly making a lot of noise. And I think they're top 3 in the NFL in defense. I mean, they're a legit defense. They're a real deal.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a secondary that's anchored with Slay and Bradbury on the other end, you really have the back end of your defense covered. So it allows your defensive linemen to really push forward, your linebackers to make plays because you have so much trust in those two at the corner. So I really think that the way Howie constructed this lineup and constructed this entire thing here, he put together a roster that can win and play together. Whereas, it's very hard to get pieces from outside to fit in. Howie managed to do that. And I think you see it, when guys come in and just like Quinn's coming in, I'm looking at the text messages, the emails, the Twitter messages lighting up on him and people welcoming him to the city and players on the team reaching out to him saying, hey, let's go, bring it home. We're going to do this. I don't know how it is in other cities. It's just hard for me to say, but that's what Philadelphia is. They open their arms up to people that come here. And if you produce, he'll be loved. If he does what he did, even partially what he did last year before, they're going to love him. If he gives us 6 sacks the rest of the way and pressure and does his job right, he'll be loved. And just like Howie Longson, Chris Long. I mean, we loved him too. This is what we get. People don't get this city until they're here. Players hear about it, but when they're here, they get it. And that's what I really think. I think the defense has a lot of pieces from other teams that Howie put in, and they just embraced the culture of Philadelphia. They really did.
An undefeated Eagles team, and of course, the World Series game won tonight in Houston with the Phillies and Astros. Joe, I've got to be honest, I'm picking Houston in 6.
Well, I would be a fool to tell you that's a bad pick. How could you not bet on Houston? They've been there. They had a tough defeat last year. As a fan of baseball, I would say they're the favorite. But as you know, Philadelphia is born and bred underdogs from as far as I could remember. I mean, every team I've ever rooted for was never the favorite. The 1980 Phillies were not supposed to win. The 83 Sixers weren't supposed to win. You know, the 93 Phillies weren't supposed to do anything, a bunch of misfits. You know, you keep going. The 04 Eagles, they were never supposed to get there and win the whole thing. So, you know, you look at 17 and you know, Carson gets hurt. They were huge underdogs through the playoffs right to the Super Bowl. This is our culture. So when people doubt us and around the country, nationally, they pick against Philadelphia, it almost makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up a little bit, because I say, yeah, I welcome that. You know, in the famous words of Jason Kelsey, you know, hungry dogs run wild, run faster. That's exactly Philadelphia. You know, doubt us and we'll show you.
You know, Joe, I should have warned you. Swendeman is actually a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Well, you know, it's bad upbringing. What can I tell you?
Sorry, yeah. I had a messed up childhood. I don't know what else to tell you, Joe. I apologize.
I get it.
You can
Happens to a
follow
lot of
Joe.
people.
You can follow Joe on Twitter at JoeOrlando_22. Joe, thanks for your time. Swendeman, as always, thanks for your time. And we'll see how this weekend plays out.
Hey, tonight, go Phillies, go Nola. Let's go.
Good luck.
See you guys. Thank you.